back again on my laptop and then I'm working. No stress. Really.
People who work physically, you are not working a 9 to 5. You are probably working a 4:30 to 9 p.m.
That office gist is missing.
For most organizations, some of the biggest costs that they have to maneuver is the cost of relocating talent.
It's so much.
Yes.
I mean, you have most of your workers working from home. Nobody is coming to use lights, power supply in your office. There's no utility.
There are people who are working remotely, but they still don't have work-life balance.
Yeah.
And then when you ask them, how is it now? You must be enjoying. They'll be like, oh, more this work I'm doing, even 12 midnight. People who deal in service delivery.
Yeah.
Those jobs are really important physically. For example, healthcare professionals, for example, people who deliver your food.
How will the driver of a particular company work from home? Hi guys, I'm working from home today. My name is Paul, and with me here is
Toju Uwawa.
And we're on Timeline today to discuss the pros and cons of remote work. I mean, remote work is one that grew since COVID-19. The pandemic sent us into lockdown. And while we're at lockdown, we thought, what way could we work from home? And then it grew rapidly. And even ILO reported that over 50 billion US dollars was generated from working from home in 2020 alone. That's a very huge number, I must say. But however, the World Bank records that about in high-income countries, 25% of the jobs there are remote works, while in developing countries, that's low-income countries, most of them still fall below, the remote works in such regions fall below 10%. And that's a very low number, I must say. Before we come to, let's start from there. Actually, what are those factors that reduce the number of remote works
workers
in all of these places? Because I mean, I know now that the world is tending to go into a more remote work. There are actually debates here and there about, do we really want remote, or people should go back to their office and things like that. But however, what are the things that restraining these people in the low income countries from having more remote works?
Okay, so the first thing I think is industrialization.
Yeah.
So we find out that most times these countries, they do not have the technological what's the word? The technological know-how in order to induct these people into remote work.
Okay.
So for you to be able to work remotely, there are some factors that you need. For example, you need stable internet connection.
Exactly.
A country that does not have that cannot successfully conduct a remote work system for its workers. Then you also have to have access to work tools.
Yes.
You need the right work tools, you need the right specs of equipment, you also need the right access to remote work software. So if a country cannot guarantee its
all of that,
citizens all of that, then definitely there will be a low turnout in the amount of remote work
basically, all of this weak infrastructure that we have in all of these places are things that are contributing to the total number of remote work that we have in such regions.
Yes.
That's actually very interesting. But as an HR executive, right, you've obviously handled people who work from home, people who work in the office, and from your own point of view, from like what do you see as the pros? Like what are those things that you enjoy, like that's probably your employees now? What are those things that they enjoy while working from home?
I would think the first thing is commute time. So I usually say, for people who work physically, you are not working a 9 to 5. You are probably working a 4:30 to 9 p.m. depending on where you work. So for people who work remotely, that's the number one thing they enjoy. They have to cut out on commute time to work, which actually saves them time to do other things. Then also, they get to stay away basically from toxic work environments. So when you are doing your work at home, you have a designated, yes, you have a designated work desk, you have your space. You tend to like keep away from distractions. You know that, oh, if I'm going to work, I'm going to work. There is no employee that is that you have to report to HR, or there is no someone's smooth food smelling from the kitchen.
Exactly.
You know, all those kind
hungry,
of stuff.
yes.
So you're just focused on the work, and I feel like that makes it more productive for you as an employee, for me as HR, because I don't have to get all these unnecessary reports from people.
Yeah, I mean, like there's this research from trip.com that said that most of the hybrid workers actually are more productive than those that work in the office every day. And I think it's just starting from where you stopped about talking about increased productivity. I mean, normally now, probably coming to work, I need to spend probably like 1 hour coming to work or 30 minutes, things like that. I could use all of that kind of time into something else, doing something else, and there will be no issue of, oh, you came late to work, that kind of thing. Like everybody has to be on time, because you know that I have so thing to achieve. I have to clock in by this time.
I actually saw a meme flying somewhere about a remote worker, and I think it was work resumes by 9, but about 8:50 something, he was still on his bed. 8:59, he was still then 9 o'clock sharp. He was all dressed on his system. So that's just it. The beauty that you can just jump into work anywhere, anytime. That's the beauty of it, basically.
I think it's for me, it's very interesting, because when we begin to break all of these things, that we'll notice that for companies now, right, you notice that the overhead costs, right, would reduce, because now you're not spending so much. I mean, you have most of your workers working from home. Nobody is coming to use lights, power supply in your office. There's no utility bill. I mean, waste, for example. There's no, you literally don't even need to like think of a way that, okay, we need to get this thing in order for police people to
basically reduces overhead costs.
Exactly. All of those things that don't just bring one way or the other productivity doesn't show in your production thing and all of that. Your production costs, right? You notice that they reduce because now there's no, okay, we need to go. So and another thing again is, even it's kind of bridges the gap, because I mean there's sometimes you need to travel a long distance for a meeting or something like that, but now you could just sit
and take it virtually.
Exactly. like that. You're cutting cost of, because for example, now if you are traveling out of the States, you are cutting cost of the hotel, feeding, transport again, and all of these things are very big numbers in the real sense of it. And now one again that we should look at is how even the employers now have access to a global pool of talent. I've had friends that, even me myself, I've had people, I've worked with people that are outside the country, people from over far and wide, like exactly, like as far as India, as close as the UK, like here and there, like, and it just shows us that we can have this global pool. It doesn't have to be these same people all the time. I mean, in whatever office space that you go to today now, you likely see people in that certain region. If it's in Ghana, for example, now you see more of Ghanaians in whatever company you are going into. But if it's that we have the space of having remote workers that could work with us, we might see someone from India that will bring a different perspective to how they see issues, even in the company. And it brings the thing of you have access to diversity of knowledge, diversity of people, languages. Even trying to even communicate with probably people in other countries won't be so hard. For example, if you have someone from France working for you remotely, if you have a business deal with a client from France as well, your employee from France can obviously speak French, and so you just have him there, and then he's translating to you, and like that, you don't even need to hire. Exactly.
Like what you just said, it made like total sense, because most of the times for most organizations, some of the biggest costs that they have to maneuver is the cost of relocating talent. You see someone who is so good, you definitely want to work with the person, but then you have to consider the cost of relocating, sometimes not just the person, but their entire family, making sure they are settled in, making sure that sometimes you have to fight because some of these people don't have like work permits in your country. So there's a lot that has to go in, but with working remotely, all these things is just boss, you can work from where you are. We've got this. All we need to do is send you your money, and probably if you need a work tool or anything, the company will definitely fund it. But definitely you can work from where you are. And I think that that's a beautiful thing that remote work affords all of us.
Another thing again I should look at is the work and life balance, because most people don't have that balance. Is that one is suffering for the other? Is that it is all work and then they just abandon their life somewhere, right? And then there's some people that it is all their life just to enjoy themselves and things like that, and then their work suffers for it. And that, one thing again that remote work does is to merge these two together. There's a balance between the two.
I have like it. To be very honest, I think it depends. I'm HR, so sometimes I have like varying opinions of this thing. Okay. Yes, remote work does promote work-life balance, but I have a theory that work-life balance depends on the individual and the organization. Yeah. So I have had instances where there are people who are working remotely, but they still don't have work-life balance. Yeah. And then when you ask them, how is it now? You must be enjoying. They'll be like, oh, more, this work I'm doing, even 12 midnight. I'm working, I'm still active. So it's not, I do not believe that remote work is just tied to work-life balance. I believe that
it's the person as well.
Yes, the person has to set measures, do you get? And also, if you are working for a very reasonable company, then that works, because there are people who are working 9 to 5 who have awesome work-life balance. They come out, they get to see people 5 o'clock sharp. They're out of the office, and they're not just out of the office. They're going to have a drink with their colleagues. They have like a lot of things planned out for them. And then there is someone who is working remotely, and then it's like you are hardly seeing the outside. Do you get? So that's why I said I have a controversial opinion about it. Yeah. The person and the organization you work for plays a key role in the work-life balance. It doesn't just mean that because you work remotely, then automatically you have a work-life balance situation going on.
Yeah, it might not happen automatically, right? But then, I mean, there are people who work remotely that still find a way of juggling other things together. Definitely. So, like, it's more like you have time for... If, for example, now you are going to be in the office, you are going to be in the office from 9 to 5, and there's no one that is taking you out of there's nothing that's taking you out of the office from 9 to 5. It has to be complete, right? But we remote work probably have those like 3 tasks for the day, and those are the 3 tasks that you'll have done normally if you're in the office, right? I think another thing again is...
That's what I was about to say.
In the office, right, those 3 tasks of the day might even take longer time to achieve. But because you are inside your house, right, you know that, okay, I have other things to do. Yes. I need to clean the house. I need to see this person. I need to cook and things like that. You ensure that between the next 3 hours, I make sure that I finish all of these 3 activities and I go on with whatever that aspect.
One thing that is definitely a major pro of remote work. The fact that it is not activity-based, it is task-based. Yeah. Nobody cares about how you do the job. The important fact is that you get it done before the deadline. But office work is majorly, it's also task-based, but it's activity-based. We want to see that you are working. Yes. I might be clicking on my laptop and playing games, but let the activity just show that I'm doing something. So that's the major pro of one of the major pros of remote work for me. I don't have to pretend for anybody. If I'm doing my work, I know I'm doing my work. So
but really for me it's very interesting, because I know that, okay, I have so tasks to do for the day, and I'm at it, right, and I'm doing it. But again, behind my head, I know that, okay, I have this other thing to do, and I don't have office hours now. Yeah. Like, so I have so much time for myself and trying to probably even take a course. I mean, there's people that cannot juggle having to be in school, probably taking a course in a school, and also going to their 9 to 5 and things like that. So with remote work, right, it just makes all of these things very easy for such people. We'll go on a short break now. Once we return, we'll continue with the cons of... I think we've talked about so much about the good sides. Let's see the flip side now of working remotely. We'll be right back.
Every day, amazing stories of hope and tenacity unfold across the globe. On Hued Hour, we dive into these inspiring tales and discuss the vital work being done in the humanitarian and development space. Humanity has never faced a shortage of challenges, yet we rise stronger through teamwork and determination. Though these remedies are often underreported, on Hued Hour, we advocate sustainable solutions. We bring you the latest and most impactful news on how lives are being changed. We engage with young change makers and experts who provide valuable insights into relief efforts and the challenges faced by local communities through a global perspective. Join us every Wednesday by 8 a.m. on Hued Network's YouTube channel as we embark on this journey of positive change.
Hey everyone, let's face it, our world today experiences numerous challenges. And guess what? Our community isn't off the hook either. Most of the world issues are either not talked about enough or never talked about at all. But here on Timeline, we've got you covered. We dive deep into issues that affect us every day, leaving behind footprints of wisdom, knowledge, and solutions. Think of it like a roadmap that keeps you on the track for success. So buckle up, because in this new season of Timeline, we're taking another trip through the past, the present, and navigate into a more promising future. Again, we're talking solutions, people. And let's make one thing clear. This is not your average blah, blah, blah convo. This is real talk with a side of inspiration and a sprinkle of wow. I never thought about it like that. I'm your host on this impactful ride. Together, we'll tackle the tough stuff, laugh a little, and find ourselves on the path to positive change. So what are you waiting for? Season 2 of Timeline will be loaded. Let's get started. Hop in, and let's drive straight into the heart of issues shaping our world. Let's go. Oh, one more thing. Hit that subscribe button and let's take this ride together.
Have you ever been in a space where everyone's talking about complex or complicated issues? It's interesting because if they are complex and complicated, how does everyone know about them if they truly do? It's like your social media feed. Sometimes it feels like just one big puzzle, like a basket of hot takes and wild theories, unverified claims, and those moments that leave your head spinning and spinning. Sometimes you don't know what you're going to find on your phone. Maybe aliens are invading, or the earth is not round, it's actually flat. Okay, those are figments of imagination, but admit it, for a second there, you weren't entirely sure if I was right or wrong, were you? But here's the thing, being confused by all this is normal, but getting to the truth, well, that's about to get a whole lot easier as we unravel things that have been shrouded in mystery and confusion no matter the field. Now on Untangle, we take those complicated and confusing topics swirling around your feet and break them down piece by piece by piece until everything clicks into place. Every week right here alongside an expert in the field, we're going to tackle a topic that's got everyone talking. It could be a viral trend you're not sure about, a scientific concept that keeps popping up, a new law or an event, or one of those stories that just won't go away. No fancy jargon, no unnecessary complexity, just clear, straightforward answers that you can actually use. So join us every Monday by 10 a.m. weekly on Hued Network's YouTube channel. And when you do, be ready to untangle.
Hi guys, welcome back. This is your Timeline. We're discussing the pros and cons of remote work. It's interesting to work from home, I must say. Like, I wish I could work from home. I'm not even gonna lie. Because like being at home is more like me in my comfort zone. I'll do things like it will come with so much ease. For example, like if I'm hungry, I'll just stroll to the fridge, get something to eat,
and order in.
and then I'm back again on my laptop and then I'm working. no stress,
You
really.
can literally watch a movie and work.
Exactly.
No one is going to let me watch a movie and work
And
in
I'm
a
just
physical office space.
I could even gist to my friends though, and I could be at the restaurant, be on a date itself, and be working on the side. Like
Not advisable, but okay.
it's not global practice here, I understand. But yeah, there are downsides to all of these things. I have this friend that works remotely, and she takes students, I think English classes and things like that. At the point, there was a day that she just called me and then she was crying over the phone, and I'm like, "What's going
going on?
on?" And then she was like, "I'm just tired." Like, so the thing was that the thing was that she didn't just have anybody to like that was going through the same thing we have. I mean, if you're at work now, for example, and two of us are facing internet connection, like the network is bad. The first thing it could be on any side that, oh, what's wrong? Is the internet good on your side?
Bro,
Like-
if we're at work and the work internet stops working, everybody's like, oh, thank God. It's not our fault.
Yeah, exactly. Like we want to work over the internet. Like, but then it's not only you that is going through that. Like, there's no one to share that pain with, or there's someone that for her now, for example, a child acted somehow to her, and there's no one to share that pain to immediately. Like, they're like, can you believe what this person did? That office gist is missing. So there's that isolation. And I think she, for example, like she was able to understand it. And when she shared that story with me, I was like, oh, fine, it's understandable.
Yeah.
It's because this was not in place and things like that. And interestingly, she doesn't even know any other person that also teach that same subjects in that particular online school.
Wow.
Exactly. So she's more like, I'm alone in this ship, right? I have these problems. I don't know who's going through it as well.
Yeah.
It's more like it is the only communication that she has is she and HR.
That is pretty wild.
Yeah, it's a very wide one actually. And
I can imagine like what you're talking about with the isolation, and if it's also how do I put it now? Also in a place where you are recruited, you don't know anybody, you're working for an international organization, and then you're just sifting through meetings to see if you are the only African in the group, or do you get?
Yes.
So I totally understand where she's coming from, and the remote setting is not a place where you come in or you clock in and then you see people every day.
yes.
In physical office, you are bound to make a friend. Give it
You
a
have
month
your
or 2
office
months.
friend,
So
exactly.
even if it's just hi, hey, hey, there will always be something that brings you people together. If it is shared love or shared hate, there is
Exactly. Something will just happen.
that brings two people together. But a remote setting doesn't have that. Like, everybody's just minding their business. Like you said, the only person you have is basically HR.
Exactly.
And probably, maybe if you're able to establish a relationship with your line manager or your supervisor. But apart from that, it's just you and HR. So, and the HR relationship has to be professional, because most of the chats, everything is being monitored.
work,
You get?
exactly.
So you guys will not even have such a free flow of conversation.
Exactly.
HR has to protect his or herself too. So the isolation, very valid. And I don't know, is there a way that we can overcome that in the remote,
I really
setting?
don't know. Only if there's an office group chat somewhere again where is
Remote work support group.
exactly. Maybe that's really a support group that will just help people that go through all of that, or probably something that a few of you guys just come together and then
As
just
HR, I'm having ideas. I think the solution to that actually borders with HR. We are the
Yeah.
one who has to like build
Bring
the
exact
team
team building,
building
exactly.
activities.
Yeah.
So I think we are the solution. And if we neglect that part, then
there'll be issue.
there will be strong issues.
Exactly. I mean, people will be going through problems and you don't even know, because now you cannot see it tell on their face.
Yeah.
And then they're not performing tasks. And you as HR, you're like, you have
What's
not done
going
this, what's
on?
going on?
Yeah.
And then the person cannot explain to you that, oh, this is what is truly going on, right? And then another one again is communication. I mean, face-to-face communication is not like over the phone. I could send a text to you and you read it within that context, and then you get angered at me and things like that. Or I can even send a long email and all of that, explain myself, and then you might not still understand the tone.
There are companies that don't even use text. Like, everything is CC, BCC.
Yeah.
Like, so there's no room for it's either emails or Slack. There's no room for even sending a text, and that's just like in a more stricter environment.
Yeah.
So sorry for cutting you short.
Yeah, like, so it's more like we are it's if it's face to face now, for example, if you call me to your office as an HR that you are now, and then you tell me that, oh, so and I explain to you that, oh, this is what really happened.
Yeah.
You could see from my whole body how I explained
Language,
that
yes.
exactly. But if it's just through text, it could be like I might even be replying to you, say, with anger, like,
And you sound really rude.
exactly. Like I could have seen the email like that. Why is this girl talking to me like this? And me too. That same energy, I give it back to you. And then at that moment now, there's already miscommunication one way or the other, because what I read was different from what you're trying to convey, and what you
Yes.
also are reading is obviously, it might even be totally off the point at that particular moment. Like, and it's I don't know how to put it right, but it's one that we might not see as a big issue. But
It is. Body language is very important
Exactly.
in communication. Very, very important.
I mean, in my language, they say that ojulorowa. That means that it's in the eye.
Yeah.
That's where conversation takes place. Are you looking at me as you're talking like this?
No, I'm not. Looking past you.
Okay, so what are those other things that you see that are not the good side of remote work?
Okay, so I think we've talked about majority of it, the isolation. We already talked about, I talked about my cons, about the work-life balance and how the whole thing borders
You could also
against,
I mean, there's this guy on Twitter that I saw, right? He shared like a part of an email where his HR was telling him that, oh, God, calm down. You're working too much.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like I think he's a programmer, right? And usually those guys, they get lost into the system and you just keep going like that. So HR had to tell him, like, Chairman, you have to calm down. He's working for a company, I guess, in the US. So the HR was sent him a mail that you need to calm down with your hours. I think they actually pay overtime. Exactly, overtime as well.
That explains this. Oh my God.
They pay overtime as well. So it's
Man
more like,
has bills to pay.
for him, it was not even like working for the money. It's just more like getting the job done for him, and that was the goal. And HR had to tell him that we know that you are doing well, but just please calm down with the overtime.
Yeah, I think another con with this remote work thing that I have seen sometimes is anxiety. People develop a lot of anxiety. Okay. It could bother from different things, from the isolation, from lack of communication. There's always anxiety around, especially when, like you said, you have nobody to talk to, nothing, and you are doing something. Sometimes you don't even know. You don't even know if you are doing it the right way or if you are doing it the way it's supposed to be done. And then our network providers come with their own anxiety. Oh, my Lord. So, and I'm glad that Nigeria is developing to the point where a lot of people are switching to fiber optics, which is like now a more stable form of internet. Yeah. So, Nigeria is growing and a lot of people are hacking the game remotely. So I am hoping that before long or in years to come, a lot of people gravitate more towards the remote angle, and then we can have bigger support groups and everything.
Well, again, another thing I should also look at for is the cyber risk at all of these things, because if it's a company that has to do with very sensitive details now, for example, you are exposed because all of your work now, for example, and I know of a company in GitLab that is fully remote, right? Where most of their employees don't even need to come to work. They are spread across the world here and there and things like that. And all of this, and they should do their work, right? So for such a company now, they have a very large amount of communicate online, and everything that passes through the internet, it doesn't. There's this statement that they say on Twitter that whatever comes to the internet doesn't go, like
digital footprint.
Exactly. Once it's there, your footprint is just for you to, okay, this is this thing. Now track all of the places that it has been to one way or the other, and you just be able to link all of these things back again. And I think if we're not careful, right, you might expose your company to, if your cybersecurity is not tight, if your firewall are not strong enough, someone will come with a very big bazooka or bulldozer and then just bulldoze your distance and then have your communications right in their palm.
Company data. Everything.
And I mean, if it's something that is very sensitive, if it's something, it could affect the stock of the particular company, if it's a public company, right? It could even affect probably your client. It gives you, I don't know how to put it, but it just opens you to a lot of things, because now your
Lots of
clients,
risks, yeah.
your clientele is, everything is there, their information is also there about their own business again, right? All of those things, it just puts you at a very
risk.
bad position,
So
really.
I believe that for companies like that, there should definitely be measures set in place to make sure that their data does not fall into the wrong hands. For example, they would have like an in-house cybersecurity team. Then anybody that is getting employed into the company must sign a non-disclosure or a non-compete agreement that none of company data is going out.
I know for one now, for UI UX designers, because I have a number of friends that
Yes.
like one of the things that they sign as for any company that are having a contract with is the NDA.
Do you get?
Like,
so
yes,
they should not see that
even
anywhere else.
Some there are some that are about to the extent that I can't even see, me as their friend, I can't even see their design of the company.
Yes.
Like, some don't even tell me the names of the company. Like, you just say, I'm working for this company.
Yeah,
but
I cannot noticed that a lot with people that work remotely. They hardly divulge the name of the company. All you know is they work remotely.
Yes.
Sometimes you ask, like, for one company like that, you don't really know.
They rarely say the names, and because of all of these things, I don't know how tight those things are really, but some of them expand to even down to the name of the company, so that nobody does come close to them. I think another thing we need to discuss on this table before we leave really is the inequality in all of these things. So for me now, for example, there's no way I can carry this mic and go home and work from home.
Yeah.
And then probably there's someone else again that's working, probably someone in there, like a front desk officer now. How will the front desk officer work from home? How will the driver of a particular company work from home? How will probably the secretary work from home? Where does this balance now come in?
I don't think
because if, for example, now I have a colleague that is working from home, I'm gonna be jealous of that person. I'm not gonna lie, because two of us are working together. Fine, our works might not be the same, right? Yes. But then I should also have my own fair share of working from home as well. Because there's some days I'll come to work and I might not even need the mic in front of me, right? Yeah. So on such days, I could also work from home.
So I don't think it is an inequality thing. I think it's a specialization thing. Okay. Like I said before, I wish that we get to a point where more people or more roles are allowed to work from home. Yeah. But for now, not every specialization can work from home. Because, for example, we have like people who deal in service delivery. Yeah. Those jobs are really important physically. For example, healthcare professionals, for example, people who deliver your food. Do you get? So those are
those food delivery for, like, there's no way deliver guy can actually do it from home. They will just carry a system and then carry it, play games with it, and then get your doorstep.
You know, we talked about the industrialization thing earlier. Yeah. There are countries that they've gotten to a point where drones deliver food and people can do that remotely. Hopefully it gets to Nigeria, but we have a long way to go in order to integrate a lot of specializations to be able to work remotely. So the best thing is, if you want to work from home, you have to pick a role that enables you work from home. And even now, there's like a lot of competition in the market. Everybody wants to work from home. Yes, everybody's seeing the perks. So it is a fight to the struggle. It's a struggle. Do you get? So hopefully, like you said with your statistics, more people, more roles will be integrated to work from home. But for now, this is what we've got. And
another thing again that we want to also discuss is the debate of people that were already working remotely that are being called back. Come back to the office. I want to see you every day. We're missing your face in the office. We want you to come to the office every day. Even if you're not working, just come. Like, all of those kind of people now, like, where do we even place them? Like, what are those things that probably cause the callback? I mean, I saw Microsoft doing some callback. I saw Google as well doing callbacks.
I even heard Donald Trump was asking some of his government officials to
start. Like,
there's a lot happening.
Like, a lot of callbacks.
Transitioning.
Like, everybody come back to the office. Like, what exactly is going on in that particular space?
Me, personally, I feel like there are a lot of factors that cost a waterfall into that decision making. The people who are working remotely, they are not left out of the blame. So imagine I'm HR, you get?
Yes.
And then I'm seeing you post online things like Oh,
I'm on vacation.
do you get, like,
I've
it makes
I've
it
seen a
feel
lot of
like, do you
videos.
get?
Like you just see someone they're in a meeting, right? And then like everybody's showing your camera, and then
And then they do this.
the person is in probably hairdresser shop, and then she has her nails, doing her nails.
Those things are specifically stated. You
your
can work
contract,
from
yes.
anywhere, but when it comes to the times for meetings, you should be at your work desk.
Yeah.
In some company letters, it is mandated. That is why they will ask you before you are recruited, do you have a workstation?
Yeah, a workspace.
So them seeing those things, do you get? It's,
I mean,
it's kind of like
some
you
company even would fund your workspace, help you, they'll ask you for things you need, and then they give it to
they
you.
see that you are not using it, and not only are you not using it, you are making jokes about it. I don't think that.
I've seen one that was on the beach. I've seen one in the hairdresser
I
salon.
saw one who was taking a meeting and she was doing her nail appointment.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, dude, you can do that anytime. Do you get? You can even do it while you are doing the task. But when you are having a meeting, it is just sensible. And
but what if the meeting is emergency? Like, what if the meeting
so
is emergency?
if the meeting is an emergency, definitely you can reach out and say, oh, I am kind of like, and they will tell, the manager will tell, oh yes, you can take it. It doesn't matter. Do you get?
Yeah.
But these are times when these are scheduled meetings. It doesn't make sense to me. Do you get? So I feel like the people who are working remotely, they also had a huge part to play in this
their role to play
major
in the call
return back to office, because they feel like you are taking it for granted. You are not doing, even though you are meeting up to task, you are delivering, but a lot of managers, they feel like they want to see you do the work. Exactly. They want to micromanage you. They want to see you working. And I feel like a lot of managers miss that. So
that's okay. So like, I think we're already stretching the conversation too far. So what should we expect in the nearest future? I mean, you've stressed that you want to see more roles switching to remote.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't mind working from home, carry my mic home, and then just work from home, record my voice and everything and my face, and then be at home while working, really. Yeah. So what are we looking out for in the nearest future, probably in the next 5 years, the next 10 years?
I think that in the next 5 to 10 years, there will be more roles integrated into the remote role, because we're seeing an advancement in technology, we're seeing an advancement in AI, a lot of things that people used to do personally, we're seeing softwares do it now. Do you get? So I feel like there would be more open chances for people to be able to work remotely. I also feel like it would also be a 50-50 thing. For companies who might not be able to offer fully remote options, they might begin to consider hybrid. I see the gap widening, and I'm excited because it gives people more time to spend with their families. We're a generation that we don't have to do things the way the millennials did it. Do you get? So we're looking for easier and faster ways to do things, and we are open to welcoming change. So
which do you prefer as HR now? Which do you prefer, hybrid or remote? So fully remote or hybrid?
I am
or 100% at work.
So the thing is, me personally, I am a big proponent of the hybrid work system. I believe that people should be allowed to come into the office when they want to, because there are sometimes when home is not just cutting it for you, want to work somewhere. I know that there are collaborative workspaces for people who work remotely, but I think that the office should have a space where people can just come in whenever they want to with their cup of coffee, just chat with their colleagues as they do their jobs. I'm a big proponent of hybrid, but just don't make it toxic.
That's actually very bad. I know someone who works hybrid and will only go to the office when they have food in the office. So if there's no food in the office, she's not going to the office. So, but her work is most of the time she's always out of the office, really. But anytime you see her in the office, it means that there's a food, there's a luncheon, there's dinner.
Whiskey is coming.
you get that kind of thing. Really, it's been a lovely conversation, and I really hope I really hope that we'll get to a point where every one of us can decide, oh, today I'm working from home, today I'm going to the office. Yeah. And I really wish that it comes tomorrow. I really wish it comes tomorrow. My name is Paul, and with me here was Tojo, the beautiful Tojo. Thank you very much for coming around.
Thank you.
Yeah, we hope you come again and keep promoting hybrid so that people like me will get hybrid work.
Definitely.
Okay, it's been a lovely conversation. Thanks very much. Don't forget to like, share, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. My name remains Paul. Bye for now.